Death descended like the spring in the valley, in the light of a million suns. He came amidst the rivalries, invisible serpents of slithering heat, venomous light piercing the cawing of the crows. Stillborn, delivered dead into blanched beds like vain prayers. This is how Satchidanadan, the famous Malayalam poet, ruminates on the incidents of the nuclear bomb blast, the atomic bomb blast in Hiroshima, in his poem titled Hiroshima Remembered. This was first written in Malayalam under the title Hiroshimയുടെ Orma, and the poet himself later translated this piece into English. This poem is a dedication to the people of Peringom. What about Peringom? Why is the poem dedicated to the people of Peringom? Peringom is a place in Kannur district, and there was a proposal of a nuclear power plant. And this is a success story of a joint effort by the socio-political and the environmental streams, and also the educational streams, where they join hand together as a protest against this nuclear power plant. And this success story is the only instance in India where you can see that based on this campaign, based on this anti-nuclear protest, that this entire project was disposed. This campaign was an awareness to the common people that a land used under the banner of development would wipe out generations. There are two major incidents as found in the poem. One, as the title suggests, Hiroshima, the very first atomic bomb which was dropped by America in 1945. And the second incident is a Chernobyl incident, the historic accident, a nuclear disaster, which took place in 1986. These are the two major incidents found in this poem. The poet begins by referring to the grass, or it's the grass which is speaking. Now, this grass mentioned here is a reference to the commoners. Grass mentioned or is a reference to the commoners. And Satchidanadan feels that he also belongs to these set of commoners. This poem is divided into three sections. The first section talks about Hiroshima and the after effects of the Hiroshima incident. The second section talks about the Chernobyl incident, and then we have the last section. What about the first section? A very gory description, vivid and detailed description, horrifying images of the people after the effect of Hiroshima is what you can see in the first section. The first section talks about the land which is filled with charcoals, the ashes, the orchard of skulls, burnt kimonos dripping, the tiny shoes of children, cherry blossoms dissolved. These are the images that you can see in the first section. So I would like to just give you an overview of the poem, the emotion that is contained in this poem. There are two underlying themes in this poem. One is death, and the second one is destruction. You can see dead bodies all over the place in the first section. You can see the children are lying here and there, blood oozing out of their bodies, the mothers crying out for help, and nothing could be done because as they move about, you can see that they fall dead too. This is a detailed and horrifying images that you can see in the first section. Death and destruction of the people which were affected by the Hiroshima incident. The second incident of the Chernobyl is equally a heart-rending images that you can see as similar as the Hiroshima incident. In the second section too, you can see death and destruction. Horrifying images of children lying here and there. People are running about, but you can see as they move, they are all fallen dead. Death comes to them as an invisible serpent, poisoning the land out there. So in the second section, you can see it's not only the horrifying images of the people, but also the land which is filled with blood. You can see the poet explains about the tomato fields, which is completely soaked in blood. You can see that the animals are fallen dead. The birds which have fallen off the trees, completely dead and shattered. There is no life in the second section. Not just the people, the land, the animals, the birds, everything out there is completely dead and have reached to a standstill position. This is how Satchidanadan explains the first two sections of the poem. Death and destruction, overlying themes of these two sections. The after effects of the incident at Hiroshima and at Chernobyl. Destruction, complete destruction. And in the last section, the third section, it is not any other incident, but the poet feels that there is a ray of hope. What is this hope? He feels that the nature can awaken us, and therefore he calls out to the mothers, "Wake up, mothers, sing lullaby to your babies. Rise up, brave peasants, come about and start tilling the land. Because one day we have to set off this green flag of dreams, the green message to bring about rhythm of nature, to bring about life to this nature." And this hope is what he explains in the third section. And he feels that the peasants who come under the commoners would be able to bring about the rhythm of life. And this rhythm of life would give us a green nature. This is what he explains in this poem. So the emotion in this poem is about death and destruction, the anguish of the people, the frustration and disappointment of the people, as you can see in the first two stanzas, which is explained through these incidents. And this is why he dedicates it to the people of Peringom, hoping that we will not have one more instance of this. And this is why he has dedicated it to the people of Peringom. And in the last stanza, you can see that there is a ray of hope. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. And what is that light? The green message, the rhythm of life, which will bring about the green in nature. Shouldn't we be doing the same? Shouldn't we be sending out a ray of hope to the coming generations? We, as human beings, have to sustain our nature, and this sustenance would in turn sustain us. That is the effect of nature to us. So for a green nature, we need to be saving the nature. How can we save the nature? Remember the 3 R's. Reduce, recycle and reuse. Reduce, recycle and reuse the materials around us. This is how we can bring about a green nature. This is how we can save nature and thereby giving a rhythm of life to nature.